They both hit hard. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power.
To say Crawford, if you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
Crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that
Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith analyze Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Stephen A. predicts Crawford wins by points but urges caution. He recalls Gervonta Davis warning that Crawford could face danger if he trades too much. Since Canelo holds the edge in natural size and strength, Stephen A. insists Crawford must lean on defense, speed, and smart ring tactics instead of brawling. The experts point out that brains, not power, may determine the outcome.
greatness. And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's going to go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight.
At the same time, Max Kellerman remarks that Terence Crawford's overall abilities seem sharper, giving him a technical advantage. He mentions Canelo Alvarez's sturdy chin and bigger build that add force in close exchanges. Still, Canelo has not appeared as sharp or commanding in his latest outings, showing a slight drop. This mix of Crawford's skill and Canelo's size shapes the fight as a contest between precision and durability.
Great chin. A great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. So you briefly mentioned Canelo's power. So who, I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov.
Antonio Tarver, a respected analyst and former champion, openly supports Terence Crawford while admitting the size of the task ahead. Tarver says Crawford has proved himself across many divisions, yet he notes this fight is a different level altogether. For him, it is not only Crawford's hardest trial, but also a type of challenge Canelo Alvarez has never truly dealt with before.
Crawford's take, I'm Bud County all the way, but this is going to be the toughest fight, the best fighter Bud has ever been in the ring with. And arguably, this could be the best fighter Canelo has ever been in the ring with. We'll find out which one is which on September 13th.
Antonio, I appreciate your time. Safe travels back home.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio.
Timothy Bradley Jr., famous for his sharp boxing mind, thinks the first round of Canelo versus Crawford will be calm and measured. He expects both fighters to avoid big risks, using the round to read timing, movement, and openings. Bradley explains Crawford usually starts slowly, studying his opponent before laying traps. Canelo has also shown a habit of testing distance early, making small changes as the fight goes on. Bradley compares this to a chess match. saying the opening will be more about information than fireworks.
Versa. Crawford wants to feel his punching power as well. You know, in the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm, you know, understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. You know, it takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher. You know, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. You know, and the indication of that is when, if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Trout, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. You know, he usually takes off, just feels the power, you know, cruises, you know, see what these guys know, couple of feints, level changes, you know, gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round's going to be a real, like, calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's going to start applying that pressure, man. Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? And let me explain this. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, you know, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to come next.
Amir Khan, who has fought both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, shares a unique point of view. He stresses Crawford already proved his greatness in his natural classes, especially at welterweight. Khan reminds fans that weight divisions exist for a reason, and facing bigger men is always dangerous. He feels Crawford did not need to accept this risk, as his legacy is already secure. Still, he respects Crawford's ambition, calling it a bold step to silence critics and chase history. To him, this is a gamble that could either raise Crawford's status forever or damage his career.
And we did all the build-up. They were nothing but respectful.
Yeah.
I just feel that, you know, in boxing, weight divisions are made there they make them for a purpose. And I highly respect and say pound for pound, the best fighter is Crawford by far, and beats anyone. But when you start putting weight on and you go up a weight and you fight these guys like Canelo, even though Canelo might be now getting a little bit older and it might be slowing down a little bit, but he's still going to be very dangerous. That punch power, you're still going to get tagged, you're still going to get hit. You're going to have to spar heavier guys to get ready for that anyway. So you're going to be taking a lot of wear and tear anyway. You're going to have to adding a few pounds on. Does he need to put that pressure on himself? He's done what no one's ever done before. 2-time undisputed world champion. So why not just enjoy? But obviously you want to go for that next challenge. Now for him, he wants to go for that Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. Yeah. But if he's the man and he knows how good he is himself. So I can't really say to him that do this or do that. So really,
he believes in his skills. He feels
he believes in his skill. Yeah. We can't answer for him. Yeah. We let him go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And we all might be wrong. Yeah. He might be even stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well. Yeah. That he might do really well in there. So look, regardless,
you fought them both. Like what are the differences between them? Obviously, it's weight.
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit. Very easily. Yeah. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. Yeah. So really, that's the difference. And they both hit hard. Yeah. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much weight? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Trainer Dave Coldwell praises Crawford's flexible style, focusing on his ability to switch stances smoothly and use his footwork to set distance. Coldwell highlights that Crawford's legs are a hidden weapon, helping him create angles, break rhythm, and frustrate rivals, even against pressure fighters like Canelo. He believes this movement could be Crawford's main weapon. If Crawford stays mobile and avoids being trapped, Coldwell argues he can outthink Canelo and score points round by round.
High-profile show, it's huge. It doesn't get any bigger than that, and
And, you got to give credit to both guys. They're both very confident. They both have very passionate fan bases. Callum, having fought in Dublin, packed the arena out there, the 3 Arena, having fought at Madison Square Garden 3 times, fought in Boston. And then Fernando Jr., from one of the biggest boxing named families, in the history of boxing, he's going to bring out a huge fan base. So it's a really exciting addition to, such a big show that it like I said, doesn't get any bigger than that for sure.
I agree. I think that you, along with me, have seen some of these criticisms of the undercard. But really, when you look at it, I mean, we both know Callum Walsh so well. The personality and the authenticity that he brings to this sport is just so sincere. He's so real, being from Ireland, coming overseas to train and dedicate his life to this craft. And his personality is so magnetic that it obviously brought someone like Dana White to be a huge supporter of him.
Jeff Mayweather centers on size and weight, calling it one of the fight's biggest factors. He points out that Canelo has long ruled at super middleweight, a division that fits his natural build. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, is moving into territory not truly his own, raising concerns about speed, stamina, and punch resistance with extra weight. Jeff insists Canelo's comfort in this division gives him a built-in advantage, since he doesn't need major body changes.
From when the fight got made, I've always fancied Crawford. I just think it's different. I think there's something about him. I think if you add what Crawford's good at, his brain, he can switch. He's very good as a southpaw. His judgment of distance is fantastic. His punch picking is fantastic. He's got good legs. When you add what, and he can pop. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's got the power to hurt Canelo, but he might have the power to surprise Canelo a little bit and just sting him But when you look at what Crawford does well, and then I look at this version of Canelo, as Canelo's got on, his punch rate's gone down. His feet have never been the fastest, but he's always had good placement of feet. His feet aren't the fastest. And he loads up. And he don't really like boxing at a pace. So I kind of look at that and I think Crawford can manage his way through the fight to win it on points. I think he can manage moments, tough moments. When Canelo detonates a big shot on him, he's going to know about it because Crawford's been hurt before. And Crawford gets hit. He does get hit. That's why he's exciting. But he does get hit. So that means that Canelo could land on him. I just think that Canelo will land a bomb and Crawford knows enough to tie up, to get off at an angle, to get that distance.
A Ring magazine writer studies Canelo's latest bouts, noticing that although he still trains hard, one weakness has shown. Canelo has struggled to cut off the ring, letting opponents move freely and avoid heavy shots. Against Crawford, whose angles and footwork are central to his plan, this problem could hurt him badly. The writer stresses that Canelo must recover his ability to corner fighters and block exits, or else Crawford could exploit this flaw all night.
Big factor. And I mean, this is a weight class that Canelo is already, owned. He owns his weight class. And so, and he even went up higher. So, he's already proven what he can do and what he can take at those other weight classes. So, I don't know, but if anyone can do it, it probably would be Terence Crawford. This guy seems like he's amazing. He's, I'm a big fan of Terence Crawford, but I'm a big fan of Canelo as well. So, it's one of those situations where somebody has to lose. So I don't know who's going to lose. But I think that it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a great fight.
Former champion David Haye adds a fresh twist to the debate. At first, Haye thought Canelo's strength and size were too much for Crawford, leaving little chance for the smaller fighter. But after watching Crawford's training and sharp form, Haye admits he changed his view. He now believes Crawford's skill and focus give him a real shot at winning.
I should have any position to critique and criticize Canelo. But one of the things that he's gotten in trouble with in the last couple of fights, not being able to cut off the ring. You know, you go to the William Skull fight and you him chase William Skull around and around and around that ring. And yes, William Skull was running from him. That was clear to see. He was on his bike utilizing his jab, but you didn't see Canelo cut him off. You didn't see him move laterally to be able to stop a lot of that running or stop a lot of that circling around the ropes, which is his responsibility if he's going to take the front foot and look to establish himself offensively. And when I watch Canelo here, he's gotten away with this pretty much his entire career, but I watch him cross step a lot. And you see it right there, where he goes from circling, he rolls under the right hand, and instead of moving laterally, replacing his back foot with his front foot, he L steps and then crosses over, which instead of just moving laterally and shifting, like I said, shuffling to his right off of the L step, off of the reset, which would allow him to be ready to go and ready to fight again, it takes him that extra beat to get back.
Jeff Horn, another ex-world champion, warns Canelo Alvarez not to rely only on size and strength. He argues Crawford's top-class defense can reduce damage and take away Canelo's power. Horn says Crawford has rare instincts, slipping shots, rolling with punches, and avoiding clean hits. That means Canelo's size may not matter much if he can't land solid blows. Horn explains that Crawford's defensive patience could frustrate Canelo, cut exchanges short, and allow him to counter with accuracy. Finally, a veteran fighter who has followed Crawford closely insists he won't bet against him. After watching his growth and discipline, he believes Crawford's toughness and consistency prove he belongs with boxing's greats. To him, this fight is simply Crawford's chance to display his greatness.
When Nash beating Canelo, I've been a fan of his for a long time, and likewise with Crawford, I never thought there was a version of reality where they'd both be in the ring with each other. I initially automatically assumed, because Canelo's obviously beaten, because he was the light heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, he's just campaigned at a much bigger weight, so a good big gun beats a good little one, usually. Until I saw them standing next to each other and they looked the same size. So I couldn't quite figure it out. I was like, okay, if they're the same size, then it's literally pound for pound. Who's pound for pound better? And that's it. They're both pound for pound fighters. A lot of people have got them 1 and 2. And I favoured Canelo starting off, but over time, I'm starting to think, once again, Crawford is one of those guys where he reminds me of kind of Andre Ward a little bit, their mindset. And he wouldn't put himself in a position if he didn't know for sure he had enough firepower to deal with someone of Canelo's stature and Canelo's history. But it's the two best fighters on the planet. Mixing it up, it's like it's one of those dream fights. It's a proper trades fight, that anyone who's interested in boxing want to see two living legends going at it. Yeah, I can't believe it's actually happening. That makes sense, because they're so big in their own right. The fact that fight would never have happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It just wouldn't have happened. But now anything's possible in boxing. Anything's possible.